Hi everyone, welcome back. It's Anna and I'm here to do an updated what's in my annotation kit. I kind of streamlined it to everything that works for me right now, and I currently still keep it in this pouch that I talked about. It's a design from an artist called Vicky Sawyer. She does beautiful nature and animal works, and they usually get turned into all sorts of different products. So I have this pouch. I've had it for a while now, and it's just kind of like a canvasy material, and it fits everything that I need. Actually, before I do that, just wanted to say that nothing has changed with how I actually annotate. So I'm currently reading Mansfield Park by Jane Austen for Jane Austen July. And when I usually annotate her books, I like to just kind of keep a lacy bookmark in keeping with like a Jane Austen theme. I use adhesive library card pockets, and then I have my guide, so that way I can remember. So I usually date stamp it of when I start and then when I finish, and all of the different colors and what they mean. I only use 3 colors. I do have a pink that means for quotes, but I actually end up using purple to highlight anything that I think I like to remember or want to reference. So purple is for favorite and well-written passages. Green is for anything that is historical significance or details, just little things that I like to remember. And then blue is for interesting words, pink for quotes, and then I have nothing for yellow just because I don't tend to annotate so detailed like I see many other people do. It might change for different books, but as for Jane Austen books, that's how I've been annotating. So back to the pouch. It looks a little full, mostly because I've kind of restocked it with a bunch of things. I have a postcard with a Jane Austen quote on it. I actually like to use these as bookmarks for larger books. So it's a little big for this book, which happens to be more of kind of like a almost A6 size. But anything that's a large hardcover, I like to use bigger bookmarks so they just don't get lost in it. So that's why I have that. I decided to keep a small notebook in here. I haven't filled it out yet, but what I want to do with this notebook is actually write down all the books that I want to remember for future readathons. So suggestions for future Jane Austen Julys, or for Victober, which is the Victorian Reading Month. I'm going to use this to reference that, because otherwise if I add them to my like Amazon wish lists and things like that, they just tend to get lost. So this way I kind of have it in one place with my reading materials, and that's what that's going to be. I keep a ruler here for when I have the attention span to underline with a straight line. I'll use the ruler. And then I have several extra library cards with the adhesive pockets. So I can link all of that down below. It's all in my Amazon shop. But I buy all of it in bulk, so it just ends up being really affordable that way. So I've had these for a long time. They last me a long time because I get the bigger pack, and that's what I do that with. I can always end up using one of these as like a bookmark too, so that's kind of nice. And then what I like to do is I like to have just a regular guide to reference too. So this is like the original one that I made, and I always keep it in here. So when I'm making the new library card for the next book I annotate, it has everything that I need to know for that. And then I just have some spare sticky notes stuck to the front of that. Actually, I might stick it to the back. Oh, something I don't know if I mentioned. On the back, I like to also keep track of the number of days that it took me to annotate the book and the number of brass flags used, because I like to use these for bookmarking any page that I've marked up or written on or highlighted. I love these things. They're nice and thin, and so far I haven't bookmarked anything from this one yet because I'm just kind of reading through it. So I haven't really taken time to bookmark that, but I do enjoy using these a lot. And I like to keep track of how many I've used on the back of that library card. So that's also something that's in that card. I have a pad of clear sticky notes. These are great. I feel like when I use these, that way it doesn't cover up the actual page. So that way if I have some notes that I want to put on there, I can stick it on. I can still see the text for when I want to reference it again and be able to like still write on it. So these have been pretty good for that. The only thing is, and it could be just this particular brand, I got these off Amazon, I don't even know what brand they are, is that they do leave a sticky film. So like if I peel this off, there's a slight, like, it's not going to ruin the page, but I can feel it. So I don't know if over time it might affect the paper, but I believe I have these linked in my Amazon shop. So I'm gonna search around to see if I can find something better. But it does kind of leave a sticky film, and I feel like these won't, it's not so sticky that I feel like it'll last forever. So eventually over time, like maybe as it dries, this might actually become unsticky and it'll just fall out. But I mean, who knows, by then I'll probably sell all my books or something. So I do have clear sticky notes for making notes for when I do want to write, just because as of right now, these editions that I have for annotating don't have very large margins to write things down with. I have this little pouch that I recently added just to corral small things. So in here I have my lip balm. I found these in my stash. These are like Jane Austen little page flags. And I downsized a lot of my sticky notes, and I actually just ripped off a portion of each flag. So there's Jane Bennet, there's Willoughby, Darcy, and Lizzie Bennet. And I just saved enough to use, and I didn't know what I was saving it for, but I decided this was perfect to use if I wanted to flag something in my pages. And then I took these out as well. These are just Daiso page flags, and they're kind of like a vellum-y plastic, in case I want to use them. It might not be used for Jane Austen July, but I have them in there, and then I can use it in the future if I want. So that way it kind of keeps all the small items in one place. This is also a new addition. I don't usually add too many of my own notes to books, but because of the way this is, and it just feels like it's just not very durable, and because it leaves that weird sticky film, I decided to maybe start using regular Post-its. So this is the Post-it brand. I got it in my favorite color. I couldn't resist because I absolutely love this color. And I decided that if I were gonna do some notes, I might start using these instead until I can find a better alternative to these. So that's why that's in there. Haven't used those yet, but it's in there. I have treats because, you know, when you're reading, you can't do that without treats. These are the apple gummy candies. They're really good. I really like the lychee ones too. Those are my favorite ones, apple and lychee. And these are all the pens that I use. I use the Friction highlighters in pastel. These are the main ones that I use for highlighting. So purple for every favorite passage, well-written passage, green for historical, blue for words, supposedly for quotes, but I haven't used it yet, and then yellow. I just buy them in the 5-pack. Which is the reason why I have the extra colors, just because it's cheaper that way rather than buying them individually. So I do have the extra colors if I want to do something with them. I'm just gonna slowly load this back in here. And then what I use to write on the clear sticky notes, so for these, I use between the Jetstream, is this the Uniball? Uniball Jetstream, and I've had this for ages. I'm just trying to use it up basically. It's a great pen actually. Out of all the like ballpoint pens, this is pretty great. Writes very smoothly on that, as well as the Pilot Acroball in a fine tip. I couldn't find it in a medium tip. Had I been able to, I would have gone with that because I really don't like writing in fine tip, but these write very well on this kind of like vellum-y plastic surface. And then I also have a red Pilot G2 in 0.7. This, I don't think I've actually used this just yet, but I wanted a red pen just in case there's something I really wanted to have highlighted to jump out on the page. And then I also have a pencil. This is the Kokuyo 1.3 millimeter. I love this pencil. It writes really well. I like a thicker lead. And then I have two erasers. So I have the Mono Zero Tombow, by Tombow. It's a very thin eraser. And then I have this one too, the Pentel Click. These are great. These erase everything. I love these. And that is my current annotation kit. Everything I need is in here. It's really worked out well. I pretty much will just pick this up whenever I choose to use it. Currently I have it paired up with that, and it just easily sits on the desk next to me with my cup of tea, and it's great. That's the reason why I chose this pot, just because it can stand upright, and I can just kind of keep it open, pull everything I need out, put it back in when I need to, but I wanted something that would be able to sit upright and have that kind of formed shape. If you have any questions about anything, please let me know, and thank you so much for watching.